The Ghana Education Service says it is yet to settle on the requisite books needed for syllabus for the new curriculum for basic schools just a week to the start of the new academic year. The Ghana Education Service last April announced a change in policy for basic school pupils which will have a new education curriculum, but that will put a premium on reading, writing, arithmetic and creativity. That meant the GES developed training manual for teachers, which is a change, including a change in uniform as well for junior high school students, and new books for pupils in kindergarten to primary 6. But according to the head of public relations of the service, Cassandra Chum Ampofo, they are still working with the National Council for Curriculum Assessment to procure textbooks for pupils.
What I want to say is that the curriculum is what influences teaching. And so for our teachers, we have trained them. They've been given the curriculum. The curriculum is even online, naca.gov.gh. When you visit ges.gov.gh, there's a link to NACA. It's free. You can download. And we have also given them the teacher resource packs. And in the teacher resource pack, we have laid down guidelines as to how to teach the lessons, how to develop assessments, how to even plan their lesson notes. Everything has been comprehensively spelled out in the teacher resource pack. The textbooks, yes, they are important. They are just backups. And so we have seen that, previously, or I don't know whether you are aware that teachers tend to rely more on the textbooks and they even forget the curriculum where we have laid down, the steps they have to take to make teaching and learning, the child-centered. Everything has been clearly spelled out. So yes, the textbooks is important, but for now, we think that we can go with the curriculum and the teacher's resource pack. Some of the books have been sent to NACA. This is solely NACA's responsibility, National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, and they are reviewing, they assess and approve, and they recommend to the ministry that these books are good and we need to buy. So I know that there are some books they are, assessing as I speak to you, and I know that when they are done, ministry will look at it and then recommend, and then the ones that are to be on the market to, again, NACA has even come up with a short code so that when they are done with everything, as a parent, you can just sit in the comfort of your home and text. If it is ABC book, you only get a message that you text whether ABC book has been approved by NACA, and then you are sure that what you're going to buy on the market is exactly what has been approved, and then you buy. The ones that government will also look at and probably buy in bulk, it will be done. But for now, if by September we are not done with that textbook assessment and approval, we are ready to go with the curriculum and the teacher resource pack, which has every detail to be able to teach the standard-based curriculum.
Will you be done by September with this process?
I cannot say that for a fact unless I confer with NACA, because they are solely in charge of textbook assessment and approval.
You didn't give them a timeline when you had, we are about to reopen, so did you not give them a timeline as to when you want them to finish this process?
I'm sure, I cannot say that for a fact that by September, but I'm very hopeful that they may finish, because like I indicated, they are reviewing, assessing some of the books, and we are hoping that by September we may get some of them out. But again, by the 10th of September, when the academic year begins, if it's not ready, we are very sure of the content of the teacher resource pack and the curriculum itself, that they will be able to teach, because it is the curriculum, again, that influences teaching.
Well, if you're a parent, you would like to let us know what you think, how you feel about this. Drop us a message on our social media platforms. It's on Facebook, JoyNews on TV, and of course, JoyNews JoyNews on TV, and then on Twitter it's JoyNews on TV. We'll bring you some of the sounds from parents who sound frustrated. But right now, let's have a conversation with an education NGO. Kofi Asare is the executive director for the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition. He joins me in the studio so we can talk about this further. Ms. Asare, thank you for your time this afternoon. Yeah. Now, you've heard what the ministry says from the PRO. The time, we have a little bit of time. I'm sure you would disagree, but if it's even 10 days, it's still some time to do something. What do you make of the fact that we can go ahead or we're going to go ahead into a new term
academic year
without the requisite textbooks?
Yeah, let me contextualize my response. Days after the curriculum was launched, the coalition issued a statement. And in the statement, we indicated that a good curriculum is as good as its implementation arrangement. We said that no curriculum is necessarily bad, but the issue normally has to do with how the curriculum is implemented. And so if the curriculum's implementation is well planned and executed, then you end up expecting to achieve the expected outcomes of the curriculum. Now, fast forward to now, that's about 2 months ago. We have a situation, listening to the interview by the JoyNews PRO, if NACA is still reviewing proposed books, then we are very far from where we want to get to. Because we are not even talking about the publishers. We are not even talking about, we've not gotten to procurement. We are now reviewing proposed books and then getting it approved before you move to procurement, before you start engaging the publishers and then procurement. And so it leaves a bit of a worry for us in the sense that school is reopening in about a week's time and teachers still don't have the textbooks. And I'm surprised that the JoyNews PRO is saying that the textbook is a backup. It's not a backup.
So when she says that, the point she makes is that, you know, the teachers were trained, they were retrained for the new curriculum.
Yes.
So the point she makes is that they have a resource pack. The teachers who were trained have resource packs. And with these resource packs, they can start something. I mean, they can, it's some sort of support, even in the absence of
textbooks. That is not the
textbooks.
ideal situation. Other than that, the textbook wouldn't have been there. Every element of the inputs the teachers require is important. It's there for a reason. There's a reason why textbooks are used in private schools. Why are private schools using textbooks? It's because there's a reason. Don't forget, I am saying this because the new curriculum is standard-based. And NACA explained the last time that standard-based means that at the end of the term, the teacher's output will be assessed by an external body. And it will be assessed within the context of how many students are able to reach a particular proficiency. Okay? So if you don't give the teacher the ingredient or the tools that they require, the full complement of tools that they require to be able to teach and achieve the standard that the curriculum requires the teacher, how can you demand teacher accountability?
Okay, well, even before we get to teacher accountability, let's look at how in the classroom. Now, whether we like it or not, next week people have to go to school. So let's look at how this is going to impact teaching and learning. I mean, at the beginning, what do you envisage will happen? I mean, the students or the pupils, how will they take it? How can the teachers use whatever it is at their disposal now to get to teach these young people and to make the most of the situation?
I think from the teacher's perspective, they can try to be innovative. Okay, if the teacher has mastery in the area, they can be innovative. Assuming the teacher is teaching history, and the teacher talk about Kwame Nkrumah on that day. Okay, no. The primary one starts with David Danko.
They're going to start, yes.
Yeah, and then the teacher has some good knowledge of that, and then there is information also in the curriculum, in the guide, and so the teachers can always manage and innovate for a period. Okay, well, what about the students? Because the teaching is a dual function. It is the teacher and then the students. So if the participation of the teacher can be innovative in the sense that he or she is a professional, the child is not the professional. And so the child will still need that book that he or she can reference from during the teaching process, either in school or out of school. And so the textbook is not only, it's as important to the child just as it is to the teacher. And so how I want to look at it is that it will affect the quality of teaching and learning. There is no way that any parent will accept that without textbooks, good or quality teaching and learning can go. No.
So it will affect.
It will definitely be compromised.
Quality of quality of teaching and learning will be compromised.
Exactly.
At the situation we're looking at.
Exactly.
I'm just wondering if wouldn't we be forcing the hand of NACA as well? Shouldn't they take their time to work this out properly? Because if this is a change in curriculum, it is going to be, unless of course another government decides to make another change, but it's going to be more the status quo. It is going to be the focus for teaching and learning in all of our schools. Shouldn't we give the NACA time to deal with this and make sure that they've done a good job?
You remember at a point in the development of the curriculum, the teacher unions came out and said that they were not consulted. And NAGRAT came out and said that they were not consulted. Even in the piloting of the curriculum, we indicated in our statement that we wished that in the piloting of the curriculum, all the stakeholders would have taken part in one way or the other to observe how the pilot worked, so that would have had the basis to make meaningful input into the curriculum. Everything has been rushed. That's what I want to say. And so I honestly don't know where we are rushing to, but that seems to be one of the features of our public system. Policies are always hurriedly rushed through, without recourse to how the rush affects the expected outcomes of the policy. Then when the policy begins to fail, then we start asking questions. Asking questions. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And so NACA is being pushed, yes, but NACA is being pushed now because we have failed to plan and our timing was bad. I think that if we had taken time to consult widely on this curriculum, taking time, let NACA do their work, do extensive work on the content of the textbook, take their time, and then when we finish, we go to the publishing processes, do the procurement. When every school in this country has the full complement of textbooks that they will require in the classroom, then you start the curriculum.
Apart from us rushing the system, which has resulted in the situation we're dealing with at the moment, what do you think went wrong? Why do you think, what do you think could have or may have gone wrong, which is why we're here today? That we just didn't think through from the beginning?
No, I think what is going wrong, okay, I don't want to say went wrong, it's still going. What is going wrong is that we are rushing. We are rushing to nowhere. We are rushing. The curriculum is a good curriculum, and we keep emphasizing that. Curriculum is a good curriculum, but what is good is how it is implemented. And so we are rushing to nowhere.
But what then will be your recommendation? We're rushing, but we're rushing because next month, which is just around the corner, next week, we have to go to school. So what should be what will your recommendation be?
Does not suggest that the old curriculum is that bad that we can't spend just one more term, one academic year using it and take time to plan properly for the new one.
So your recommendation is that we stick to the old curriculum?
My recommendation is that we should ensure that all the critical building blocks required to fully implement this curriculum in all the basic schools in this country are available for teachers, because of the fact that I mentioned again, the difference between this curriculum and the previous one is that we are told that this is standard-based. And standard-based means that the teacher's output at the end of the term will be measured in terms of the level of proficiency the children or the pupils are able to achieve. And so if at the end of term one, the standard is that all children must be able to recite ABC, okay, it means that there's an inbuilt accountability system with this standardized curriculum. Okay, now, for that to work, you need to provide the tools the teacher needs for the teacher to work, so that you can hold the teacher accountable to those standards that were met or were not met. That's my issue. So
two key things that you've raised right now. That one, first of all, this doesn't provide, it provides a very disadvantaged basis to measure teacher efficiency.
Exactly, and for that matter, that standard-based mantra of this new
curriculum is defeated in the first place. And secondly, you also think that everything it will be good if we could stick to the old curriculum whilst we provide the necessary the necessary systems.
So that there's no need to. Because we have asked other questions apart from the textbooks. We have asked that where are the French teachers? If we keep asking, the previous curriculum was taught in junior high schools, and only about 30% of the junior high schools were teaching French. Rural schools did not have French teachers. And we have asked that what measures has the JoyNews put in place to ensure that this new curriculum will not perpetuate the rural-urban divide in education quality? Because we have not seen any tangible initiative on the ground to assure us that a student in the cook room or Tintimshe will have access to a French teacher now that French will be taught in primary 4. Because the idea is that teach French from primary 4 so that by junior high school 3, the student would have reached some proficiency level in French. Fantastic. But we are going to continue doing the same thing we are doing by ensuring that only schools in the urban areas and peri-urban areas will benefit from French teachers. And so there are too many questions being asked without answers. And the best thing I think for us to do is to hasten. Let's plan properly. Let's get the critical building blocks in place to ensure that this beautiful curriculum is implemented beautifully and not rushed to nowhere.
Not rushed to nowhere. Hang on for me. I'll come back to you. But earlier this morning, Roland Walker went out to talk to some booksellers or some bookshops. Here is how that interaction went.
We have new textbooks, but not all. So far, we have what we have in our buses. This is what we are waiting for, so that when they start buying, we know how to serve them. But new curriculum, we never get it.
Okay, so you have only the old stock, which will be the old curriculum.
So if the new curriculum come to the market, we shall go by that. But up to now, there's no new curriculum. We miss it, the old curriculum and new curriculum. You don't know what is going. So we sit down idly before the goose. And we
The
don't
old
know.
ones.
Why?
They don't bring the new ones.
But you were told that there will be new ones for the next.
They told us that they will bring the new ones, but they don't bring it.
But school is reopening next week.
Yes, but now they are reporting about the new one. Now we are looking for the new ones. They said they will bring it, but up to now, they don't bring it. So we don't know what we will do. We don't know. So because of that, they didn't even read the textbook for them to come and buy. And they are there.
You mean they haven't written even the list of the textbooks for the parents and the pupils?
No.
So that is the feedback you get from the parents?
Yes. Yes.
We don't have in stock. We don't have even the books. We haven't seen it with our naked eyes.
But school is reopening next week.
Actually, we know the school will open this week, but I don't know whether all the schools.
No, not all the schools. I know the public schools will reopen on the 13th. But the private schools, most of them, if not some of them, are reopening next week.
And whether they are reopened or they are not reopened, the books are not in the system.
By this time, what should have been the activity?
Very, very poor.
No, by this time, ideally.
In former days, yes. Like that, you can see people are around, people are buying, and we are enjoying the season. But now, you can see all over. There's nothing in the system.
So where ideally would you have gotten textbooks to buy? Is it from publishers or stores or what?
From our publishers.
And some of the publishers you have are?
They are Akiola, Peter Seed, who does the author. We have different authors. And none of the books, the new curriculum, is not out as of now.
We're just 7 days away.
You can see, just 7 days away. And we see our business is only yearly. And as of now, we are sitting down. We have waited for so long, and the books are not in town.
And have you interacted with some parents? What are the reasons why, or heads of schools, what are the reasons why they say that we don't have the books on the stands?
The parents are saying they should not buy any books because the teacher said they should wait. They should wait for the new curriculum books that will come out.
Maybe the market will improve when we have the rush.
The books are not there. How can they rush?
I see a lot of books here, but it looks like from already the responses have sampled. They are all the old stock. We're supposed to have new stock. Why is it that we don't have it currently?
Because of the books are the new books are not available now, and because of the new economy, so the books are not there. We went there to talk to them about. The school is reopening, but we don't have the books.
Have you interacted with the Ghana Education Service officials or even the heads of the schools or the publishers? What are they saying?
We went to the publishers.
Okay, so we'll talk about it. But by the way, curriculum is not an easy word to pronounce. Trust me, it's not that simple. But you've heard them. there is a very serious economic/business angle to the whole story that we've not even discussed yet. So for all these people who have the old stock, it doesn't mean that it's bad debt.
Yeah,
of sorts.
it depends on the arrangement that the retailers have with their publishers. Okay, yeah. So most of them do return on sale. So return on sale, they only they only pay the publishers based on what they sell.
Okay.
But for those who actually go,
but then it goes back to the publishers
exactly.
as debt,
exactly.
right?
In that case, it go back to the publisher debt. But if you go and buy to sell, then it remains with the retailer as bad.
And like they're saying, I mean, this is supposed to be their peak season, and at the peak season, this virtually no business because teachers are saying don't buy any books.
Exactly.
Parents are not buying any books.
Exactly. Normally, this is the busiest season. It's not only for the curriculum, also the school uniform. Same. Same. This is the period where normally textile companies and then also publishers make money.
Well, at least with the school uniform, we know that we're not using the one that we already know. Now there's a new one, but you can still, they're blending it with both the new and the old until the old one fades out, eventually. So right now we're looking at doing both. But let's stick to this a little bit. Now that the sellers are complaining, those who sell these books, bookshops are complaining. What really do you think can be done right now? I mean, what should the Ministry of Education do? What should GES be doing? If we decide that we should stick to the old ones, the old curriculum, and just deal with it, who should even start that process? Should we wait for the ministry to make an announcement, or should parents begin to petition the ministry? What really can be done in this circumstance?
I think in this circumstance, the teachers matter a lot.
Okay.
Because, as I mentioned, the teachers are the ones who are going to be held responsible for poor learning outcomes. Parents will blame them. Government will blame them. And then society will blame them. And so the teachers, I know the teacher unions are currently reviewing the situation. They are the ones who have to advise government based on what is happening, you understand. But it is obvious that we don't need to push NACA into doing a shoddy job. We shouldn't compromise on the quality of review that is currently ongoing, or the processes leading to the review, approval of the content and the publishing of the textbooks. That process should not be stampeded,
right?
Because of this.
The implications.
Exactly. So I think that
such a process,
once we don't want to stampede the process, let quality be the ultimate denominator and not the timelessness. So let's just let the process.
Well, we'll try and get back to the Education Ministry and find out from them whether or not this is an idea that they'll buy into. That we focus on using the old curriculum as we develop the new curriculum, and then when it's ready and all the systems are in place, we can move on to use the new curriculum. But we've been talking to some parents as well. Let's hear indeed, education is a very broad subject, and it has so many stakeholders that it will be good to hear from the teachers as well. But for now, listen to some of the parents who are concerned.
The teachers who are supposed to teach have been trained, and they have teaching and learning materials. They can start teaching them with notes. When they give them notes, definitely it's going to help them. But within, let's say, 4 or 5 months, certainly books will be available for parents to have them. I'm of the view that they should wait in the sense that if you go and you purchase an old book, which is not in conformity with the new curriculum, that's going to be a loss of money. Apart from that, it's also going to have effect on your child. So when you wait, it pays to wait.
The books are not out. Definitely the books will come out when the curriculum is out. The teachers cannot teach without the content and the curriculum. So as soon as students go to school, the curriculum will come out and the books will be given to the students as well as the teachers to teach. As for the new curriculum, it is very good. Every country is changing and they are changing to the modern standard. Ghana should not be left out. We should also be changing so that we'll be abreast with other countries.
Well, I think it's not in order because if you are not prepared, you don't go into battle. So they should rethink again.
So essentially, everybody agrees this is a nice idea, but are we ready for it at the moment? Not so. The first speaker talks about 4 to 5 months. So are you saying then that 4 to 5 months, for example, if that's when indeed the new curriculum will be ready, the textbooks will be ready, that for the first 4 or 5 months we stick to the old? Wouldn't it create confusion in the minds of our children?
I don't want to imagine 4 or 5 months. You're talking about 2 terms. I don't want to imagine a term of teaching in a classroom without textbooks. I don't want to imagine that.
No, that's if we're sticking to the old curriculum.
Yes.
So then there are textbooks.
Yeah.
So we stick to the old curriculum, but then if we have to move on from the first 5 months to a new curriculum, then that's going to be a big problem, wouldn't it?
Yes. I think that the whole idea is that the curriculum should be rolled out at the beginning of a new academic year and not in the middle of an academic year. You understand? That's the whole idea. Okay. And so that is why the planning, everything was predicated on us starting in September. So I don't think that's an option. The best thing to do is to roll out a curriculum at the beginning of a new academic year. That is what is normally done. Okay. And so I don't think that would be a good option. For me, the best option is that let's take our time. Let's do all we need to do. And I keep mentioning, I'm not talking about just textbooks.
No, everything else.
My friend teachers.
So what it means is that, again, the recommendation is that go throughout the academic year with an old curriculum.
Exactly.
Fine-tune everything. Put in place systems to roll out the new curriculum.
Exactly. So that
and
we
then
get
in the next academic year, you start with it.
So that we get a full benefit of the new curriculum. Else, we'll be discussing the quality issues that we sit here every day and discuss, even though we'll have a new curriculum.
Well, bottom line, a lot of people agree that it is a good idea. I mean, the new curriculum, they say, those who have looked at it and studied it say it's a beautiful plan. People said, well, people all over the world, systems are changing. Why don't we change as well? We're changing as well. But are we ready? Do we have the systems in place? That's the conversation we're having. The recommendation from this conversation, based on what Kofi Asare says here, is to continue with the old curriculum whilst we put in place the necessary systems, everything else that we need to do to be able to roll out a new curriculum. That is the recommendation. I've been talking to Kofi Asare. He's the Executive Director of the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition. This is not a finished subject yet. Certainly, we're going to continue having it, and we'll reach out to the Education Ministry to find out what is going to happen to our students. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Asare.
Thank you.